Alrighty, welcome back everybody to the third week of our Tech Bytes project development course in the programming language of course, Python. As always, guys, thank you so much for coming out. We got a bunch in store today. Continue working on our Mastermind project, which we unveiled last week, and keep making progress on that and talk more about the stuff, concepts, old stuff we have learned. It's been a while since we brushed upon that, and keep making some good progress. So once again, thanks for coming out, and without any further ado, let's get to it. You guys already know who I am, guys. My name is Ram Siddiqui. I'm a senior at James B. Conant High School, like a lot of you doing these Tech Bytes programs. You guys should know who we are by now.
And hi, guys. My name is Labdi. Again, I got a senior at Conant High School.
Alrighty, so let's get down to today's agenda for today's date of January 27th. Crazy to think, but the month of January is almost over, and we're going to be 1 month into 2021. First, getting us started with any questions you guys might have. Sorry about that. Recap what we worked on last week, make sure that we're all on the same page, and then we can get started coding, working on the steps we outlined, and start actually filling the functions we commented last week.
Yep. And I believe both of you guys are in the Google Classroom, but for anyone watching the video, sign up on Google Classroom. That's where we will be posting all of our video links as well as the Replit links, so where all the code is, and you will be updated for what we do every week.
Exactly. Alrighty, so now let's get started talking about our Mastermind project. Now, before I fully go ahead and explain, we've talked about this project last week. Chase, you guys have any ideas? Can you guys remind us what we're talking about? What's the deal with this project?
We were doing like the math and numbers thing where you had to guess the numbers.
Exactly.
And then that was the game called Mastermind.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Chase, anything to add to that?
Wasn't last time also the one where we were doing math and Avanish was just kept on getting them right?
That was actually algorithmic programming. That was on Monday, but every Wednesdays we have the project development class where we are creating Mastermind. And then Avani started us that Mastermind is where we guess numbers. Do you have any other inputs or anything to add?
In the old version, it looked like we had to guess the colors.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Good job. Yeah. So for sure, Monday was Avanish going on a hot roll and started demolishing everybody with his average calculations. But yeah, you nailed the head on the hammer. Essentially, Mastermind is a way for us to guess. It's the idea of sort of cryptography. Remember, we discussed how being able to encrypt stuff, we can sort of decode it, and it's sort of a cool game in which we sort of guess what the computers come up with. It uses a little bit of somewhat math, and it's a fun game for us to play in a 2-player setting. And we're going to be making it in a computer setting as we go on. Chase, that is totally fine. We got a bunch of classes, so what we love hearing you remember what we did. That shows us that you're paying attention. So hopefully you keep that going.
All right.
Yep.
So yeah, before we start coding this week, actually today, just a recap of what we did last time for project development. So we recapped some terms like importing number ints, variables, all of those, and we checked out the finished version, and we actually played that together two times actually, one last time and one the week before that. And then finally we created our steps using documentation is what we used. So just commented out code. That means just like lines of sentences that are notes for what we will be about to code today. And finally, we created a Replit in which we did all of the documentation. And that is where we will be working on today as well, doing steps 1 and 2.
Exactly. And guys, as we're going along, I believe from the past couple of weeks, we like working on one shared file. So we'll continue doing that. And then as always, Ayush is coming in.
Hey, Ayush.
There we go. Yeah, Ayush, thanks for coming in.
As we go along the class, people will just gradually come in.
I was out sledding, and right now I'm in my car. I'm just joining.
Oh, love the dedication, Ayush. That's pretty cool. Well, it is perfect weather for sledding, though. Where'd you go?
Actually, we just went behind our house. Now we're going I popped our snow tube.
Oh, all right.
Nice.
Well, we'll have fun. That's
ran over a jump, and the moment it landed, it just exploded under me.
Wow. All right. Well,
Yeah,
pretty
right
cool.
now I'm going somewhere else too. Yeah.
All right, well, you could sort of tune in, answer any questions we have. We can sort of we can try doing breakout rooms now too, along with Chase and Avani. So thanks for coming in. Alrighty, so Ayush came for the perfect time. Today, our plan is, like Labby just said, we're going to be reviewing some old contests, make sure that we got all that laid out. Start doing some breakout rooms as well. Looks like we got enough people now, so we can do 2 breakout rooms if that's the case. And then, like Labby said, we can start coding, actually. Last week, we outlined, took the notes. We have everything laid out. Now, the only part is the execution. And that execution lays in laying out and typing out all of the Python code. Yes, Chase, hopefully we go along. The whole gang comes back together.
Yep. All right. So we can set up breakout rooms for now. I can join like one of the breakout rooms. So we have two per breakout room. Let's see.
Alrighty, so we will be going in on.
Ryan, you doing it?
Yeah, I got it.
Okay, got it.
All right, so guys, as we're going in, the main objective, like you guys just saw on the screen, is to tell the people in your breakout room what does a function do. Remember, a function was a term we discussed not only this past week in algorithmic programming, but also last week in project development. So any ideas, and then we'll come back, regroup, and then share that idea. So here we go.
And you can use the internet or any resources for
We are in. Now we can party while they're gone.
All right, there we go. People coming back in. And there we go. Labdi and Avanish are back as well. So hopefully we all had a good discussion. We talked a bunch about functions, but now let's just do a quick recap and make sure we're on the same page.
All right, so functions. We in my breakout room actually, we had a discussion. So Avani said, is it something that holds data? Well, close, but instead of holding data like variables, functions hold code. So they're like, again, an assignment notebook responsible for holding our tasks. They're containers or container-like something, but they hold our code. So whenever we call that or we look into that container or we use that container, we basically will be able to do all of the code that is inside that container.
Exactly. And Chase also brought up a good point talking about why do we use functions, right? When we started last year, a bunch of the things we did, we just wrote the code, our project ran, we were happy with it. But this year, we're really emphasizing that idea of organization. And when we think of functions, guys, sort of link it to that one word of organization. You know how we keep our room nice and clean, putting socks, underwear, pajamas, everything in a dresser and drawer, right? Well, you want to similarly, when writing code, you want to keep everything in separate areas. And that's something you'll start to see when we're making functions which have a specific purpose so that we know, say we want to pull out some socks, we go to a certain drawer, right? Well, if we want to see where is this calculation occurring in code, we go to a separate functions. Let's keep everything nice and tidy. And just for reference sakes, we'll be going over this today as well. This is how we create a function. We did this in the past 2 weeks as well. We did it past Monday. When making a function, we simply say def for defining a function. Then we create the name of our function, add the parentheses open and close, the colon, and then indentations are super important, as you guys have probably noticed in Python. Indenting is a way for us to keep track of what is going on in what area. Say we have a for loop, then we indent one more to make sure all that code is inside of a for loop. And then if it's just part of a function, then we just keep it one indentation up. And then as a reminder, we call our functions by actually calling them. We type the name of our function. That way, the code inside of that function can run. So that was a recap of our function term we talked about last week. And now let's get towards a term which we're going to be utilizing today.
All right, it's the random module. Well, what is the random module used for? First, I'll say it in notation or how we actually saw it in our code. Let's see. So, oh, okay. Actually, Avnish, that is close, but that is modulus. This is module. Very good, very nice try for like connecting. But it's, remember when we said import random in our Python code, it imported a random module from which we did random dot rand range, something like this. So here's the syntax that we used last week. And well, okay, first of all, what does it do? If you import any module, you are able to access the code inside that module that someone else wrote for you. So in this case, when I'm creating a random number, if I wanted to create it without importing a random module, I would have to like write hundreds of lines of code. But instead, I just import that code or that module inside my code, and then I just refer to it. So I say, go to this module, and then go find this function, and this is what I want to use, even though I haven't written it. So yeah, it's basically a cheat code in a video game that does half the work for you.
Exactly. And it looks like we are retaining a lot of information from Chase talking about some old stuff and Avanish too. Modulus, that's a good connection. We're going to use it probably again next, probably in the future when we're talking about more projects. But for sure, good connection. Just remember, module, modulus, easy to confuse, but two separate things.
Mm-hmm.
Alrighty. So
time to code.
let's get on our website. A lot of you will be dropping a link, guys, to our shared documents so that we are, looks like we like that, right? So we can all start coding together. And today, let's get on towards step 1 and 2.
Yep.
Avanish and Ayush, ready? Virtual fist pump. It's coming.
Ayush, no problem. I'm glad you joined us though.
Yep.
All right, I put the code in the chat and let us get started. I'm going to share my screen as well. If I see where my, oh, there we go, okay. Sometimes I get lost in my own computer because of how many tabs I've opened. There we go. All right, can you guys see my screen?
Yes.
All right. Okay, so here's the import module that, or random module that we were talking about, how we import that module. And then something that we did start last week was creating a random number from that module. So again, what I said in those slides was, once I import this module, I'm just telling my code that I'm going to refer to code from this module, or like this set of code in the later lines. And then I say, go to this module, the same module that I imported. And then inside that module, that's what the dot means, go to rand range function. And that's another thing that we learned today, really quick. I know I'm on a detour, but this is important stuff. So creating a function, I think Avanish and I were talking about this. Creating a function, you just do def, and then I'm going to call the function by my name. And then this is how you declare a function. And let's say I want to print lobd is the best, because I am, just kidding. Okay, so, and then I call that function. And the way you call that function, you have to have these parentheses in here. And later on, we'll learn what parameters are, but that they go inside these parentheses. And that's what this is. If you take this part out, this rand range syntax, that's a function. So isn't that cool? We learned functions, or we reviewed functions and the import module. And basically this one line uses both of them. And if I just put that line back in and take this out, we're gonna see, and we don't need to print hello world, we know what that does. Okay, so I imported the random module, printed the random.rand range, and if I run that, it's going to print a random number between 1,000 and 10,000. All right, okay, back to Mastermind. This was just a recap on the random module, but step 1 was to create a 4-digit number that will be the answer to the guesses. And that's basically what we did over here, but we just want to set that this random number that we make into a variable. Remember, variables are like containers where you hold values. So we're gonna say, let's call it answer, or correct answer is equal to, and then random dot rand range. Oh, there's a comma. And then inside those parentheses, my bounds. So I'm going to start from 10,000, comma, or 1,000, comma, 10,000. And one thing to know in here is that, oh, I keep doing JavaScript. Okay, one thing to know is that these bounds, so bounds is like a range. So I want a number between 1,000 and 10,000. It's inclusive of the first here. I'm just going to write it down here. Rand range is inclusive of the first number. So there is a possibility of getting 1,000, but it's exclusive of the second number. There we go. So what this means is that if you can, there is a probability that you get 1,000, but there is no probability that you will get 10,000, because this rand range function, what it does is it finds a number that is from 1,000 to 9,999, not 10,000. That's just the way it is. You will find this pattern in substring, different functions like substring and other functions as well. Okay.
And just to make sure we understand, let's do a quick, we like these speed rounds. Let's see if Avanish is going to be the king again of this.
Ooh.
So guys, if we have, say, a rand range function, right? So Rob, like right now, Lobby's typing out a random number between 1,000 and 10,000, but 10,000 is not included, right? So say I have another random rand range function, say between 1 and 10. Could the number 10 exist? Could it be printed out to me?
No.
Exactly. And why, Chase?
Because it says rand range is inclusive of the first number, but exclusive of the second.
Exactly. So say one more. If I did 10 and 11, what will be the only number that we printed out between this range?
10.
Exactly. Does everybody understand what? All right, we'll take that as a yes. Great.
Okay. All right, so that was step 1, to create a 4-digit number that will be the answer to the guesses. And then we just took notes of what this line of code meant. Now go to step 2. Now, okay, before I move on, right now we will just be coding regular like we did last year without creating functions. But once we have the whole code, we're going to abstract it, organize it well, just like Rayan said, and create functions just for organization purposes and just to make the code efficient. But for now, we're just gonna bulldoze our way through and create a working code for Mastermind. All right, step 2, check if the string is equal to the random number. If it is, I misspelled this. If it is, we can return, you guessed right, and then we're going to stop code. So how do we do this? Well, we're gonna have to have some sort of input, right? And we're going to say that as n is equal to, let's say, okay, and then the syntax for that is input, pretty basic. And then what we're going to ask them is, let's see, what is your guess, your first guess? Let's say that. For this, oh, we got someone.
Yep.
Okay, for this 4-digit number. Okay, let's see what happens in here. What did we get? Huge. Okay. Ryan, can you just like chat?
Yep.
Okay, thanks. All right. So what will we get? Actually, let's just run this. Okay, so what is your first guess for this 4-digit number? And then I'm going to input something like, let's say I guess 4, 5, 6, 7. Once I click enter, that number is stored in this variable. So that I'm going to prove that by printing that variable really quick. I'm just going to print n and then run this again. Holy cow. Is it gonna run? Okay, there we go. So what is your first guess for this 4-digit number? And let's say I say 1111. And it's gonna print out that number that I put in over here. So let's say if I accidentally put characters, well, we can't compare a number that we have that's the correct number to characters. So I'm just gonna say, just gonna turn my string into an int. I believe that's, yes, sir. Okay, so what I did over here is instead of having a string, this was a string. Now I just turned that into an integer. Again, a string, you can like say this is a string. str is equal to this inside like quotation marks is always a string, while a number is always without quotation marks and only with digits. So we just turned this n, which used to be a string. Oh man, my spelling is great. But this used to be a string and we turned that into a number. That's it. All right. So we turned this into a number, but what about comparing? We have to compare. And in fact, I'm going to stop printing out our answer. But yeah, we have to compare if this guess is equal to that number that we have, that correct answer. So let's do that really quick. And instead of printing, I'm going to say if n is equal to correct answer, then, oh my God. Then, okay, who knows what I will do? If n is correct, if n is equal to correct answer, then what happens?
It will print in the correct answer.
Yeah, there we go. So it'll say that, yay, you guessed the correct answer. And I'm just going to say print. Great. You have successfully guessed the correct answer on your first on your first try. There we go. And let's see if it works. Okay, I'm just gonna print out the correct answer so we know if it works. Let's say print correct answer. And this, what I'm doing over here is I'm just debugging or testing, actually not debugging, I'm testing out my code. This part of the code will not be used in our final version of Mastermind, because why would you create a number and then just give it to the user for them to guess it if they already know? So I'm just gonna put this here so that I know. I'm gonna run this. And we know that the correct answer is 5081. Well, let's put that there. And what should happen right now is n should be equal to 5081 because I put that over here. And it's going to compare my guess, which is 5081, with the correct answer, which is also 5081. And since those two are true, then this should be printed out. Let's see if it does. So I'm going to press enter. And it did. Great. You have successfully guessed the correct answer on your first try. Now, what happens if I don't get the correct answer? Okay. And okay, so really quick, you guys see this red underline? That is an error, and that's because of my tab. And that's a very typical thing for Python because it's very sensitive for all the tabs. Okay, so else what do I do? I'm just gonna print oh no, who's doing? Okay, I'm gonna print your guess was incorrect. And before we do run this, let's just check what step 2 did. So check if the string is equal to, who's running this?
You just trying to troll us, I think.
Oh man, oh man, no. Okay. Okay, so let's just check, or let's see what step number 2 does. Check if the string is equal to random number. Well, we do. And if it is, we return, you guessed it right, and then we stop code. And that's it. the code stops after saying great. You have successfully guessed the correct answer. Now we're gonna do an extra step, part of step 2, but it will lead us to step 3, which we will do next week. But this is that extra step. Else print your guess was incorrect, and we will stop printing this correct answer. So we actually have to guess this time. So any guesses?
Let's see. Is it 4445?
Okay, 4445. If this turns out as the correct answer, I will be very proud of you, Chase. Oh, okay. Your guess was incorrect. I mean, what was the probability? Like in the millions. But yeah,
Million to
it
one?
works.
Got it.
So if we print, we're just gonna try to test this correct answer. Trust me, this is the last time we're going to run this, but just to check. One thing when you are coding is to check every single cases. So if it's right, if it's wrong, if it's null, that's a thing. That's one type of case.
I actually guessed 1709 before you pressed print. It was like
No, you did it.
No, I did. It was between. No, I thought like between 1,600 and then like it was 1,600 and then 10, like 2,000 because I thought it would be kind of like short.
Wow,
Avanish,
you're
the
a
probability of
mathematician.
you-
Wow,
Wow, Avanish, that's in the billions. Yeah, wow, you did it, Avanish.
great. Okay, so that works too. If we do guess the correct answer, great, you have successfully guessed the correct answer. All right, so step number 1, and step number 2.
I didn't.
Yo, Avanish, we got it.
Wait,
Thanks
what?
for- Alrighty, so that
Okay.
takes us through.
So okay, before we do end that, let's just see what step number 3 is, which we will do next time. Believe me, I mean, we're not going to do any more coding today, but step number 3 will be a while loop to prompt the user to keep guessing the right number until they get it right. And then the condition is until the user guesses correctly. So just a foreshadowing for next week, we will be using a while loop. So when we do ask you guys what, do you remember what we will be using today? Remember, it's going to be a while loop.
Definitely. And hopefully we have some more of our friends back here next week. I don't know what's been going on. I think people are enjoying the weather too much. Everybody's like Ayush, going in the car and going sledding. But next week, coming back, reviewing some more terms, guys, making some more progress on this project. Hopefully in the next 2 weeks, we can definitely finish this out. And you can start playing it with your friends and families. It's one of the coolest things about this idea of coding. Whatever you make, we can actually show it off and have some fun with it. So hopefully you guys are having a fun process as well. Guys, before you guys go, just a little side note. This whole week we've been promoting our Friday video gaming hour. It turns out that it's going to be next week because the month of January does have 5 Fridays, which is why it gets a bit weird with our library schedule. But we will be having our video gaming hour with Among Us, of course, next Friday. So we look forward to seeing all of you over there. But other than that, we have nothing else to say. My screen is being a bit weird, looks like. But guys, take care. You guys have 5 days off. Do some code, look at it, and we'll catch you guys next Monday. See you guys.
Bye.
See ya.
Bye, Avanish.
Bye.
Bye, Ayush.